Once you see the archetypes, you see past time. Once you see the archetypes, you see past time. You'll realize time doesn't exist. And once you see past time, you realize it's all a worship service. Worship and service. Serve one another. The greatest among you is a servant. You worship and you serve. Let me say it again. Once you see the archetypes that are really everywhere in front of you all the time, the night and the day, the flesh versus spirit, the law versus grace, the up versus down, left versus right, Wally Cody versus Roadrunner, Cain versus Abel. And once you see the archetypes, you leave time and you step into worship and you realize it's all about service. Serve one another. There's nothing else. Worship and service. There's nothing else. What else is there? What are you going to do? Worship the flesh all your life? Worship the natural? Worship the football team? Worship the next social media star, guru? Worship God, serve one another. That's it. Let me say it again one more time. Once you see the archetypical types and patterns, types, shadows, and antitypes, then you have to leave time because you've already seen it 1,000 times. And once you leave time, it's just a worship service. And what is worship? You worship God in your vessel, in your body. And while you're down here in 3D, what do? You serve one another. Doesn't matter what kind of job you have. Doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It's still about service. And then you can live in the now. So you leave, once you see the archetypes, you leave time, you enter into worship and service, and you just live in the now, and you just are. Just be. Be content in all things. This is why Jesus said, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. You have enough worries for today. So just be. Why does that make, when you see Jesus, you'll be like him. Jesus is the great I am. So when you enter into worship, you're in your true identity. You're created for God and by God, through God, to God. And so it's a worship service. And you serve. I mean, what do you want to do? Serve the devil? You have a choice. You either serve the world, the flesh, and the pride of life, aka the devil, or you serve God. You worship God or the system. There's no in between. That's pretty much everything right there. And you say, well, what do you mean by archetypes? The types, the shadows, and the antitypes. 3D is a book. You're playing out the same script every day, and people that came before you played out the script. You're following in series after those people. They're already dead. And you're just following after. And somebody's going to follow you. In series, in sequence. So you leave time, you live in the now. You see it already happened before. You already know what's going to happen with the economy because it already happened before. There's nothing new. They already know what's going to happen with the economy. You already know the house prices are going to come down. You already know that. When you see the archetype, or the types and shadows that are spiritual typology of what Christ did at the cross. When you see the archetypes, you leave time because you've already seen it 1,000 times and you know the pattern. And when you leave time, you have to enter into worship, or you're going to jump off a bridge because you're going to see the repeat. And it's going to drive you crazy, or you go into worship. There's no other choice. It's a transition from time to eternity, from discontentment to contentment, from wanting to be somewhere else and realize you're already there. No matter where you go, you're there. Living in the now, just being, doing your duty, serve one another. That's life. That's everything.